It's freezing cold even inside the boat, so we're just going to put the heating on and watch films and things. It's not really a day for working. Have a look at this. I'll give you a bit of a show around of what it's like here. I'm Andy.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jack.
And together we're working on restoring our sailing yacht.
Some of you might think we're crazy taking on the challenge of restoring this boat and creating a life less ordinary.
And we're sure there will be blood, sweat and tears, but it'll all be worth it when we embark on our epic adventure around the world. So that day, Dad and I stayed warm and dry inside the boat playing chess, watching films and eating chocolate. I am stuck. By the evening, the wind had died down, and although it was still cold, it looked like the next day might be a bit better day for working.
What a difference, eh, Jack, from yesterday?
Well, really calm, and yesterday was
Like, really windy. Like 50 mile an hour wind.
well, it was basically 50 miles per hour wind.
Yeah, we saw 50 on the wind speed indicator on the boat for a minute.
Yeah. Dad, do you think we're going to be doing any boat work today?
Oh, we'll definitely be doing some boat work today. Couldn't do any boat work yesterday, as you saw. The weather was just dreadful. But what we could do today, we can either carry on in the back lazarettes, which is pretty cold because it's still like freezing here, although there's no wind, so it's less uncomfortable than yesterday. Or we could strip out. We know the anchor locker is going to need cutting out and lots of welding there, but what I would quite like to do, and I might do this today, is strip out a lot of the panelling behind the cupboards and in the floor and under the four-peak bed.
Some of the panels are really hard to get out.
Some of the panels are hard. The wooden panels, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So we might be doing some lazarette work today, or we might be doing some inspecting the back of steel today. Not quite sure yet, but keep watching and find out. Right, so what I'm going to do now is start to empty the forward lockers. We've already had everything out and put stuff back in because there's a limit to what we can take home in the car and stuff each time. But I'm going to empty the four-peak lockers, have a look under the front one and try and get to as much of the steel as possible, expose much of the steel as possible so we can see what condition the inside of the hull is in up at the four-peak here. So this forward locker has actually got a water tank in it. I'm going to start, I think, by removing this water tank, and because that's probably, I'm suspecting there might be some rust under there. We know that the anchor locker is very suspicious, but what I want to see is how far back that all comes. Here is the forward locker that had got the water tank in. Up in that corner, nothing. That redness, by the way, that's not rust, that's red oxide paint. No rust there. Like I say, this tube here is the drain for the anchor locker, which is great, because what I'm hoping then is that any rust that's in the anchor locker won't go down below the floor of the anchor locker. It's quite complicated, isn't it? All of those ribs. Okay, so we've done that forward bit. That's where the water tank was. Really pleased with that. No rust at all. Now we're going to do this locker, which is full of old tools and stuff. We have had it all out when we first saw the boat, but I'm going to take everything out now and dump it so that we can take it all home. Some of it is actually going to be quite useful. We've got monster tie wraps. We've got a piece of wire. That'll be handy for lots of things, not least when you feed a piece of rope or something down the inside of the mast with a mouse line. You can use that to hook stuff out. Bit of old rag. Now even I can't find a use for that apart from mopping up. No, I can. I'll retract that. Switch panel, probably obsolete but might come in useful. Little drill. Found a drogue. Look at this. Might come in handy. Beat streaming warps. Okay, so this side, no rust at all anywhere. That is a patch of glue that's leaked out of some glue container. That bulkhead through there goes through to where we just were, where the water tank was. And now I'm going to clean out the other side over there. There is a hatch there, so rather than have to rip all the furniture out and rip all the floor up, I'm hoping if I can take those screws out, we might be able to remove that hatch, or I might even be able to just lift out. Okay, so into this side now. There's a few bits for me to remove from here, and there's water in this container. I wonder how the heck that's got there. I'm guessing that must just be condensation that's literally dripped down into there, but we'll take that off and empty it. There's quite a few screws here, and it's really important not to let those kind of things get down into the bilge if you possibly can, because those are the kind of things that will clog your bilge pump. And broken glass, look at that, got to be careful. Let's have a look at under this this hatch then, see if we can get underneath it. I might need to take the screws out, but I don't think I do. Water. Lots and lots of water. That's going to be a pain to get out. Fortunately, I've got a little battery bilge pump. Got a little bilge pump running to empty that. I think that water that's in there, I think that's literally what's come out of the water tank, because the fittings were all knackered and there wasn't that much water in the tank. There was probably only like a few litres of water left in it, and I think what's happened is the fittings have failed and that water in there is actually fresh water that's come out of the water tanks themselves, and it's going down very quickly, so that tells me there isn't actually a lot of it. Got all the water out, and now I've got to give it a clean. So I've started just using a bit of detergent and warm soapy water. Well, the long and the short of it is, there's no rust down here. That's just muck, that red stuff. That's just muck, which I'll get off when I can reach it. But this bilge has got no rust in at all. It's just perfect. It's disgusting, but it's perfect. So I'm going to let this air out now. Leave all the hatches off and the covers open. You can see my breath now. It's getting very cold.
Hello. What should I call you? Viewers, I guess. Yeah. viewers. That's how you say it. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of a tour around the boatyard. Okay, so find a massive Bruce Roberts, I think. Yeah, I think that's Bruce Roberts. It's a long keel, which is the same with a full keel, except it's just a bit smaller. It doesn't go all the way up to here. And it's massive. Massive boat. I think that happened from, well, I think the beast from the east did that. The storm that came here 2 years ago. That's a Fisher, see here, designed to be a motor sailor, and then people actually discovered they were quite good at sailing. Nice little bow thruster. Quite like it. Nice. Well, nicely designed. Oh, does that have 2 propellers? Or is it just an illusion? Yeah, it's got 2 propellers. By the way, I've got a question for you guys. Because one thing that I just don't really understand is if you come over here, there's this another, well, it's a catch, and I just don't understand. There's a boom there, but there's another, it looks like there's another boom here. If you do know, can you, well, tell us in the comment section. Oh, and also, please, well, subscribe and like the video. Okay, so moving on over here. Well, if you haven't watched season 1, where we have Aeolus, Snapdragon 24, she has a bilge keel, and if you don't know what a bilge keel is for, well, or what they look like this. 2 small little keels which help. They're quite common in Wales and places like that because, well, they're common all over the world, of course. But, well, they're common around here as well. Have I said common too many times? I have, haven't I? Yeah. Because the sea goes out and there's a bunch of sand. A bilge keel and a triple keel will help you balance on the sand. So, for long keel or full keel, well, yeah, long keel, full keel, or thin keel. Well, anyone with just one keel, they'll just tip over. Okay, what my point is, bilge keel is better on a place where the sea comes out, not a thin keel or a full keel. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That was well, let's be honest, quite simple. We've just said that. Well, I'm just making a massive discussion about that. I should have said that. And then here's a boat that, well, my mum kind of likes, a Moody. that person, whoever named that boat, is quite correct. Well, whoever named that boat is definitely correct, because you buy a boat, you put it, well, you might have to fix it up, but then you put it in the water, you get your money wet, because your money is the boat, because you bought the boat. So that's quite true, slightly dollar. So basically, you're not getting your real money wet, but you are basically getting your money wet. My hands are freezing.
So,
My hands are really red.
your hands are red.
Yeah, I've got hot aches.
You've got what?
Hot aches.
You got hot aches now. That's how cold it is. It's freezing. Right. Enough Jack Cam for now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of the day. Again, it's going dark. Got some lights on, but it's getting towards the point where it's too dark to carry on working. So I'll just show you what I've achieved today. Literally just under the forepeak bed. I've removed the water tank, I've taken everything out, I've got under the floor panels, I've given everything a good clean as much as I can today. There'll be more cleaning once it's dried out a bit, and yeah, come and have a look at what I've done down here. So yeah, this is the forward locker under the forepeak bed, looking forwards. You can see right at the end over there, right at the end there, that is the solid bulkhead going into the anchor chain locker. So that's a watertight solid bulkhead going into the chain locker. If we look across to starboard side, you can see there's some red oxide paint. So obviously at some point, I think what's happened there is they welded on some tabs to screw something to or something. It's painted over with red oxide. There's a couple of rust stains there that are just where the water level has sat in the bilge for a little while. I've been scrubbing those off, but then they are coming off slowly. But they're literally just like a watermark on your bath, where the water level has sat. There's not a speck of rust. Those little bits are literally just water stains, like you'd have a ring around your bath. Pan around. Looking good, looking good. And from what I can tell, the whole of the rest of the boat looks to be in this kind of condition, apart from the aft lazarettes and the chain locker at the front. And obviously there's exterior blisters which need tarting up and treating and repairing and painting. Let's have a look at the other bits that I did. This is underneath the starboard side of the forward cabin. Not a speck of rust. Let me turn the light round. There we are. That is just beautiful paint. Again, a little bit of red oxide on that tab that's been used to bolt the bulkhead on. The wood's dry, there's a little bit of mould to clear up. Similar sort of story. The welds all look good. Tell you something I really like about the construction of this boat as well. I don't know if you can see, but behind all the ribs, there's actually gaps. So water can't sit on any of those stringers or ribs anywhere. There's like periodic gaps and holes in the ribs and the stringers, so that the water, any water that does sit on those stringers runs down into the bilge. So that's really, really good. Happy with that. Starboard side, sorry, the port side of the forward locker. No rust again. Metalwork looks great. There's a skin fitting there, which according to the last survey isn't being used, it's just blanked off. I don't even know why it's there. Presumably it was there for something at some point. But what I might do is stick a bilge pump in this forward section and just take an extra bilge pump to there, because that wouldn't hurt. So next we'll just have a look down there at the bit that was full of water from earlier, and I'll show you what I've managed to do with that. So we've got no rust again. It's all very manky, but I've given it a bit of a clean, or as much of a clean as I can. There's no rust. Just pan around nice and slowly. That's just watermark like you'd have on your bath. So it shows where the water had come up to in that bilge. And that was just accumulated rainwater and leakage from the tank. That hole there goes through into the bilge where the water tank, the forward water tank is. So that's where the pipe had come through. And that's looking the other direction. No rust. Now the question is, I don't see the sense in ripping out the whole interior when all we've got to do is paint, you know, is clean this up and paint it. I don't like it being painted in black. I think that's a silly idea. So I want to clean it thoroughly and paint it in a light grey or a white even. I can't see the sense in ripping up the whole floor just to do that. If there was welding required, then I would rip the whole floor up. Again, some people have said right from the start, why aren't you ripping out the whole interior? Well, I don't need to. I don't need to, and I don't want to. And if I need to, if there's bits of welding that I have to rip out furniture to get to, then I will do exactly that. So there you go. There's the end of another episode for you. You've got to be mad to enjoy watching this stuff, really. Apart from Jack Cam. Jack Cam, I think, makes the episodes worth watching. But yeah, what have we done today? We've, Melissa's been at work, and I've cleaned out the forward bilges under the forward cabin, and I'm absolutely delighted. They're in really, really good shape. The metalwork is like perfect, no issues whatsoever. The only thing I don't like is the fact that it's painted black, which I think is daft for a bilge. I think it should be painted a light colour so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to paint them out, and I'm actually going to install new bilge pumps, of course, and new plumbing and new pipes and new water tanks. Hello, Jack.
Hello.
It's the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had fun? Yeah? Watched a bit of Star Trek, done a bit of Lego.
Can I also say thank you very much to one of our patrons, Dennis Small. Thank you very much for giving us, well...
You. The Lego's for you, I think.
Yeah.
So what's the Lego that you've had?
The
Solomon
Guggenheim Museum, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
That's right, yeah.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Who's Frank Lloyd Wright?
A famous architect in
America.
Good.
So we're going to read up a bit more about him, aren't we? Because he's really important guy. And along with that amazing Lego, we also got some lovely sweets and some jelly, which you call jelly, which we call jam. It's jam, but it's called jelly, which is amazing. And Jack's going to get something else. He's called Frank now. No, Jack's going to get something else, and a lovely hat for Jack. Are you going to get your hat?
Yes.
Oh, you've put it down. We're packing to go, so I think he's put his hat away, ready for us to go.
I haven't.
Have you not?
It was in the forepeak.
Okay. Well, we'll wear it in a minute when we walk up to the car. Don't worry about it now.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
As always, thank you so much for watching. We'd like to thank all of our patrons, especially our new patrons this month: Pamela Bennett, Jim Trevethan, David Olson, Maddie and Mac, John Elmore and Kevin Brooks, and our friends and supporters. We are genuinely humbled that you would contribute your love, support, time and actual money towards what we are doing. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you.